what was the purpose? Come next, committees and reports. This is another important topic. What was the purpose with which Sir William Wedderburn and W.S.Caine had set up the Indian Parliamentary Committee in 1893? Okay, first, to agitate for Indian political reforms in the House of Commons. Actually, it is the right answer in the first one itself. So, who set up the Indian Parliamentary Committee in 1893? Actually, William Wedderburn was associated with the Indian National Congress. As you know, Mr. A. Hume, a former British civil servant who was instrumental in setting up the Congress, he took the initiative. He helped Indians, educated Indian leaders from the various regional political organization of early uh, leaders from various parts, South India, North India. He helped them come together on a platform of the Congress platforms, and Congress was formed in 1885. And initially, the other similar like-minded British citizens, ex-British political civil servant like William Wedderburn, they were also associated in a Congress committee of was also formed, a British Congress committee uh, to pursue the political activity regarding the Indian question, Indian political reforms, and in London to create a, I mean, the necessary environment and to put pressure on the British government and to create awareness among the British masses about the situation, political situation in India. Okay, so they also, like Dadabhai Naroji fought even earlier, even before Congress came into being. Dadabhai Naroji was elected to the House of Commons, and they raised the questions of Indian question, Indian political reforms in there. So Indian Parliamentary Committee, it was of William Wedderburn and W.S.Caine in 1893. The objective was same. Okay, 1885, the Indian National Congress, I mentioned about that. At Bombay, 72 delegates from various parts of the country, thanks to Mr. A.O. Hume's efforts, got together, and under the presidency of W.C. Banerjee, Vomesh Chandra Banerjee ji, Congress session was held, first Congress session. And these are the other British members, Mr. Wedderburn, who also became the Congress president, and Justice John Jardine. So also remember these W.S.Caine, Jardine sir, and these were the British members. All others were mainly Hindus from Kolkata and Madras Presidency. Mainly Hindus. I don't think their statement should be, studied like that. Most of them were journalists and advocates, you can say so, but not one should not see from the religious point of view. Sorry for that. I don't encourage this. Wedderburn had entered the parliament as a Liberal Party member from the Britain in 1893 and sought to voice India's grievances within the house, like Dadabhai Naoroji as mentioned. Nehru Report. With reference to the period of Indian freedom struggle, which of the following recommended by Nehru Report? Nehru Report is actually not of J.L. Nehru, but his father, Motilal Nehru Report. So, complete independence for India, joint electorates for reservation of the seat of the minorities, and provision of the fundamental rights for the people of India in the constitution. Actually, the British said that guys, you want some constitution for India, but actually time and again Britishers through challenge to the Indian political leadership, particularly to the Congress leadership, that you have so many divisions on the caste, creed, religion lines that you cannot agree on the future of India. That's why we have to stay here. Okay, and that's why by divide and rule they supported and propped up Muslim League as a challenge to Congress movement. So so what happened during the late 1920s when Simon Commission came to seek Indian opinion for the upcoming legislative reforms? Okay, what should be the reforms? And so Congress under M.L. Nehru, Motilal Nehru ji, gave a report that okay, we want this and you should consider these points in the reform proposal rather than like earlier, like in 1909 and like 1919, impose your own reforms. You should consult us and you should consider these points. Okay, so the Britishers were very smart. They initially challenged that, okay, you can't do so because you won't be able to agree. So Motilal Nehru report came, and Motilal Nehru report, uh, again complete independence, again categorical against. So no, India was a colony at that time, complete independence, home rule. Remember, recall the home rule movement in the previous decades in early 19 at the time of the First World War. They wanted a dominion. Dominion means they wanted a kind of a home rule like Australia, Canada, in which the sovereign will remain the British Queen. Okay, that means that Britishers will have a feeling that that Indian possessions are still under our control, and it will be part of the Commonwealth. We will have continued access to the Indian trade and the privileged access rather. Uh, okay, but largely the Indian administration will go to the Indian people because Indian leadership has come of the age. Now Congress leadership is there. So the complete independence for India was not even thought by this. In fact, the young nationalists at that time, like Subhash Chandra Bose, Jawaharlal Nehru, they wanted that complete independence for India should be included in ML Nehru report, but it was not done. Hence, and when it was rejected, uh, their point got strengthened, and the young nationalists in Congress got attracted to them. And finally, during the 1929 Lahore session, Purna Swaraj Complete Independence Resolution was passed. So it has a context. It is called the continuity of history, which I talked about in orientation class. Second, joint electorates for reservation of seats for minority. Yes, because the Congress wanted the separate electorate. Congress recognized, everyone knew that what is the purpose of the separate electorate. Separate electorate is to keep and continue and further nurture that feeling of separateness among the Muslims. So joint electorates with reserved seats could be better options, like in present times we have for the SCs, women, etc. Provision of the fundamental rights for the people of India in the Constitution. Yes, fundamental rights provision was also there. So hence 2 and 3 are correct. Usha Mehta ji. Now the next topics, the leaders, institutions and organizations. With reference to the Indian freedom struggle, Usha Mehta ji is well known for running the secret Congress radio in the wake of Quit India movement. Okay, the first one is correct. I need not check, or I need not tell you, because the first, it is a very popular fact itself. During the Quit India movement, which is also known as the leaderless movement, I already told you that on 8th August 1942, when Gandhi ji and the gave a call for Karo and Maro, that is either to actively participate in the political activities, because Congress, when Congress ministries were in provinces at the time of the Second World War in 1939, but Lord Linlithgow, the Governor General, declared that India is going to participate from Allies side against the Nazi Hitler and axis of evil, axis powers. So Congress said, no, you can't do so without consulting us. How dare you did so without even consulting us. Okay, this is not 19th century, we are in 20th century. We are having ministries in provinces. So that was the such kind of act on part of the governor was seen with the, I mean, it was kind of contempt to the Congress leadership, entire Indian leadership. Hence, they resigned in protest. But at the same time, they didn't want that in the war effort of allies of the British government should not get disturbed. Hence, they didn't launch any major political movement immediately at the time of the Second World War. They launched a symbolic individual satyagraha, in which individual declares and give his uh, offers himself for arrest, saying that I oppose the Indian participation in war. Okay, but what happened after that? And then Britishers tried to get this British government found okay, now this was our mistake, and let's try to get Indian support. So initially, a part of the British government, actually there was a British wartime cabinet was there, in which the all parties leaders were involved. So Britishers, uh, some some lobby, some leaders thought that okay, it is okay, let's do it rather than wasting time on Indian leadership to get them on board. Let's this is emergency time, and let's use the resources of India on our own without consulting them and all that. But some believe no, we need to get them on board to get some legitimacy. Otherwise, they might get offended, and they might create some problems in India at this time, and it will be problematic. And the same thing happened. So they also sent someone with August offer, then Cripps proposals. I already discussed all these things, and to get Indian support, to give them offers for the further legislative reforms and executive reforms after the wartime, to have even a constituent assembly. Okay, so but Indians didn't accept that. No, they said that you are under so much of pressure, and even at that time you are trying to get our support by these piecemeal exercises. You are not, after so much pressure exerted by us, so much political activity on our part, you are just giving us a little bit of concession, and that is not acceptable at all. Finally, when they felt that no, British government is not moving, and so we have to do it on our own. Moreover, the another factor behind Quit India movement was India's leadership now thought that there is a possibility if Japan come to Indian shores with the support of the Indian National Army, because they won uh, the Andaman Nicobar Islands, and in the Burmese border, at Manipur border, there was a fight was going on. So it is better to prepare Indians in case a new the Britishers run away or there will be fight. So there should be a political mobilization of the masses. They should be ready to face any kind of situation. So when at that time, obviously emergency time was there, wartime laws were there. So when Congress announced from 8 Quit India movement, on 8th August 1942, Congress was declared illegal, and all the leadership, including Gandhi ji, Nehru ji, and the rest of the top leadership was arrested and sent to jail. So, but masses knew what is happening in the world because of the media. Masses knew that about the successes of the Indian National Army. So masses knew that Britain is in problem. So the confidence enhanced, and they protested in various manners at various parts of the country. They revolted, and violence did happen at this time. So revolutionary activities were performed by the various guys, and Usha Mehta ji was one of them. From Bombay, launched a Quit India revolutionary secret radio. Okay, because most of them, if secret, otherwise they would have been arrested. She is remembered for operating Congress radio, also called the Secret Congress Radio. I mentioned that underground radio station which functioned for a few months during the Quit India movement, to just keep people aware of the what is happening in the world and what is happening, because in the wartime the government also curbs any negative news, right?